folks, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you dadgum do it? How can a ragtag army didn't have a pot to pee in, explode and dominate the largest industry in the world?
It's been said that every journey starts with a single step. Some journeys, however, just seem impossible. In 1977, the life insurance industry looked like a mountain that was impossible to climb. The 100-year-old life insurance industry was the largest in the world. The behemoth held 60% of America's assets, held incredible political influence, controlled every regulator, the media, and had a network of 250,000 agents across the entire country. 90% of all life insurance in force was cash value, one of the worst financial products ever sold to the American public, simply because it paid a higher commission. Term insurance, which offered more protection for families at a fraction of the cost, was only sold to 10% of the public. How could anyone change 100 years of history, influence, and market domination?
They ain't nobody ever designed a test, nor will they design a test that can measure the heart of a man or a woman.
In February of 1977, 85 men and women from every walk of life took that first step on a journey that would completely change the face of the largest industry in American business. 100 years of history would be rewritten in only 13 years. An army of coaches, policemen, teachers, and nurses, mostly part-time, were on a crusade to do a better job for American families and to change the financial destiny of their families forever.
Folks, if you can see yourself winning again, if you want to be somebody, if you want to control your own destiny, if you want to do something exceptional with your life, I'll promise you A.L. Williams will give you a chance to be somebody you're proud of.
The odds are like this of us surviving. I'm not talking about becoming big. I'm not talking about becoming number one. I'm talking the odds are just like this of us surviving.
In the face of impossible odds, those original 85 licensed people in one state began to grow. In 1977, A.L. Williams produced $150 million of term life insurance. But by 1980, that number had already grown to $4.1 billion. The 100-year-old paper tiger started to fight back.
That was at the time when they was trying to outlaw our product and just throw us out of business.
Here in Georgia.
Here in Georgia, and you and I and Bo Adams went down to a hotel room, and it was filled with smoke. We had a bunch of politicians in there, and you got up and gave the best presentation I've ever heard you give in my life. And when you got through, one of the politicians got up and he says, "Art, there's no problem at all. All you got to do is come up with $10,000 or $15,000, and we'll solve your problem." And I watched your face just go completely white.
And we said, well, if we have to buy that kind of favor, then our competition got a lot more money than we got. You know, we can't live. I mean, the only thing we got is doing what's right. If you gonna lay your life on the line for something, if you like to be around somebody like me, if you want to whip Art Williams, then folks, it's gonna be one long, bloody, drawn out fight.
This was my dadgum life. This wasn't any game. This was serious dadgum business.
And I get emotional when I think about what the competition did to us in the past. They loved rubbing our nose in it like you can't believe. The crowd and abuse we had to take before we were strong and powerful and before we could attack like we can do right now, I'll never forgive them, folks, as long as I'm president of this company.
The power of what's right and the power of men and women willing to dream again would not be stopped. The color of the map began to change.
A.L. Williams was born believing in taking a position. We believe in buy term and invest the difference. We believe in selling the American consumer what we own on our own life. And we believe in doing it the same way, selling the same product, the same concept every dadgum time. You might not buy our product and you might not come to work with our company, but you dadgum sure know where we stand every time.
In 1984, A.L. Williams won its first national championship by beating Prudential.
In the largest industry in the world, there's a new number one. And you know why? It ain't Prudential, dadgum.
In 1984, A.L. Williams also began expansion into Canada to take on another industry giant that had been in business since 1874. The battle that was being waged in the lower 48 would prove no easier north of the border.
I was talking to Dick Morgan in Canada. I was calling Dick to congratulate him. Man, he says, oh, there's some hairy crap going on up here. All they need to do in Canada is get us mad. Man, they get us mad, and they better watch out because we going after their, right? So we visited with the regulators for a year. We visited with the politicians in Canada for a year. And I'm telling you right now, you Canadians, those assholes up there ain't no better than the assholes in the United States.
In 1985, A.L. Williams beat the number 2 and number 3 life insurance companies combined. Then, in 1986, the ragtag army of A.L. Williams termites beat the number 2, number 3, and number 4 companies combined in life insurance issued with over $71 billion. And that battle being waged in the North? In 1986, A.L. Williams would topple the century-old behemoth London Life by issuing $1.9 billion of life insurance in only 2 years. And in year 3, A.L. Williams became number 1 in all of Canada.
You know what? I could die today a happy man. I'm so dadgum proud to be part of A.L. Williams, I can't stand it.
Throughout the 80s, A.L. Williams would continue to run up the score and completely dominate the largest industry in American business. In 1989, A.L. Williams had $93 billion of life insurance issued, with its closest competitor far behind.
You know what? I like being number 1. It feels good to be the best. To be the dadgum national champ, right? You want to knock A.L. Williams off? Well, you better bring your dadgum lunch, because we ain't going to give it to you. It's going to be a long, bloody, tough fight, I guarantee you. We'll fight you in the morning, in the afternoon, all night, and all the next dadgum day. Folks, think about this. In any city, village, or town in Canada or the United States, I don't care if it's 15 million people like in Los Angeles, or 10,000 people in Cairo, Georgia, where I grew up. You walk in any city or any town and you find a local insurance office, and you walk in there and you ask them they ever heard about A.L. Williams, and their face gets red and they start squirming in their chairs. You know what? You know what? Everybody in the largest industry in the world knows A.L. Williams is the undisputed leader. You're number 1 in everybody's mind. How did you do it? How did you dadgum do it? I'm not talking about becoming number 1. I'm talking the odds are just like this of us surviving. In every management decision at A.L. Williams, I expect you to put the human factor in there. I expect you to consider the person. I expect you to be honest. I expect you to be above board. I expect you to tell the dadgum truth. I like who we are. I like our way of doing things. Folks, we are going to win, but we're going to win our way.
The entire vision for A.L. Williams was to create a company that always did the right thing for the consumer, and at the same time, to create an environment where men and women could be their own boss, perform with no limits for promotions and incomes, with no protected territories, and no limits on recruiting.
The only purpose of A.L. Williams is to serve salespeople. Now see folks, some little something like that makes us totally different from all other companies out there. Because you know in our industry, 99+% of the companies in America today in our industry are run by accountants, are run by lawyers, or run by actuaries. You can't understand this business unless you've carried a briefcase. You can't understand that. If anybody's going to make the big money,
It's got to be the dadgum people out there on the firing line, right? You're the people that take the big risk. You're the people every day that get your nose bloody, right? You're the people out there that people are telling you no, that changing the dadgum mind and competition, getting out there, right?
As the company grew, so did the organizations, incomes, and businesses of the men and women that made up the A.L. Williams family.
Some 13, 14 years ago, as we just started this thing, we were just out there trying to make a living with a great feeling about buy term and invest the difference. And I really have developed a feeling over the years that we're almost a company of destiny.
We're going to try to build a company like we build a football team. Anybody that qualifies to come out to the team, we're going to put a uniform on them, we're going to put them out there, we're going to give everybody the same opportunity, and those that can perform, not by talking but by doing it, there's no position, no opportunity you'll be denied.
Of the 2,000 life insurance companies that existed, 36 individual A.L. Williams teams were in the top 100 of the entire industry. Company giants like Bob Wieson, Mike Tuttle, Ronnie Barnes, and Bob Turley had built companies within the company and had put enough life insurance in force to take their place in the top 50 of all life insurance companies.
We really believed we were different. We believed we were special. We believed that one day we would change the thinking of the largest industry in the world.
In the world of business, it simply seemed like a pipe dream that couldn't last. But after more than 40 years, the dreams, passion, and principles that created this incredible success story continue to inspire men and women and rekindle that Friday night feeling that inspires them to achieve their dreams.
See, folks, when you really get down to it, at A.L. Williams, we didn't sell life insurance. We didn't sell investments. It was so much bigger than that. See, at A.L. Williams, we gave people a chance to dream again. Do you know how important that is when you're out there frustrated and getting beat up? We gave people a chance to hope again. We gave people a chance to be excited again.
Folks, there'll never be another A.L. Williams in this industry, the largest industry in the world.
I'm so proud of you, I can't stand it. Folks, ain't nobody in this dadgum country gave us a chance to do what we did. You're doing things in one day and 1 week that it took companies years and years to do. I'm proud of the things we stand for. I'm proud of our principles, proud of our traditions.
Where could people like us go? Look at me. Where could people like us go? Yes, we knew it was impossible. Yes, we knew the odds were 99% against us surviving. But where could people like me go? Where some company would give me a chance. All we wanted at A.L. Williams was a chance.
We did it, and the way we did it, I'm so proud of it, I can't stand it.
Art Williams had a passion for helping people.
You know, Art Williams had a way of selling hope to people that nobody else that I've ever met in my lifetime could do. You know, he just made you believe that if you paid the price, if you were willing to pay the price, that the dream was going to be worth it.
My dad died when I was a junior in college, and he was sold too little of the wrong kind of insurance, and my mother was devastated. But I went to family reunion 5 years later, and my cousin showed me Buy Term Invest the difference in what my dad could have had and how much better my mama could have had it. It was a very emotional moment for me, and it was like lightning striking me. It changed my life, you know, forever.
So he got mad on at the industry and decided that he was going to put him out of business.
I was a high school football coach, and I didn't know anything about insurance. I didn't know anything about investments. You know, all I wanted to know was coaching.
And Art said, I'm going to build a company like I built a football team. And he knew that the toughest people would win.
The best way to build this company is to create the best part-time opportunity in the world.
When I first met Art, he sold me an insurance policy and he sold me a $20 a month mutual fund when I was teaching school and coaching and making $560 a month. Then he tried to recruit me. And at the end of a 2-hour recruiting interview, he looked over the desk after motivating me for a couple of hours and he pointed at me and he said, Bobby, they got people in this business making $50 and $75 and $100,000 a year. He says, we can do that. 2 months later, I came to work with him full time.
Back when we first got started, it was all about us against them. We had our friends and family and relatives questioning our sanity, and we had the competition anytime we came across them, which was weekly, across the kitchen table, reminding us that we had no business being in this industry.
The first time I heard Art speak, he told us we were going to do something important. He told us how big it would be, but he said, I want to let you know that the odds are against us. But he said, I believe we can do it. And he said, if we do, it's going to be big.
We were attacking the largest industry, the most powerful industry in the world. But what the industry misunderstood was how tough those original people were.
I kept hearing about A.L. Williams was a team, and it was a movement, and this team was going to win a championship. And I heard Art Williams sell the vision of this company, this team being number one.
We just took average, ordinary folks just like us and offered them a chance to do something special.
I didn't need anybody to explain to me what Art Williams meant by all my life I wanted to be somebody. When I heard that the first time, I was like, he's talking about me.
I wanted A.L. Williams to become known as the company that had more $100,000 earners than anybody in our era. And we took this thing and we went all over the country, all over Canada, all over Puerto Rico. And not only did we beat Prudential, but we beat Prudential and New York Life combined. And we destroyed the largest, most powerful, most evil industry the world has ever known.
When we made the connection with Sandy Wilde, I think we really saw a mark of permanency and that we had finally arrived to a point of acceptability.
In the 90s, when we became part of Citigroup, it really was a new start for us.
So we had the foundation of a crusade tied into the professionalism and the credibility. And then when John and Rick took over, that's when our business really went to the next level.
Without John and Rick, we probably wouldn't even be here today. Putting together the IPO at a time when there was a global meltdown, what they did was miraculous.
Rick and I were 40-something weeks in New York, and it was just a war to get the company out of Citi and to get it public.
There were many points where it was unclear whether we were going to be able to succeed or not, and that was the value of having two of us.
The one thing I was confident of is if you put us in front of people, we were going to sell this thing. At one point, I screamed at an investment banker, put me on the road and this deal is done.
When our company went public and we were all invited to Wall Street, it was such an unbelievable moment. Here's our company banner, all our leaders are up on the balcony, hitting the gavel and the bell's going off, and we're sitting there going, is this happening? None of us were supposed to be here. This company wasn't supposed to make it.
The morning when the stock was opening, when we were all down at the stock exchange, before the market opened, and then once the market opened, they couldn't trade our stock because it was so oversubscribed.
And so Rick is up trying to figure out the math of what's going on. And I'm looking up and there's, the ticker going around the floor with Primerica listed today, co-CEOs John Addison, Rick Williams on the floor. And I just grabbed Rick and I said, Rick, quit looking at that and look at this. Look at what we did.
Stop focusing on what's going on and focus on the bigger picture of what's going on. Focus on that we succeeded in doing this.
It was one of those moments that, if you're lucky, you get to have once in your life where you took care of everybody and you pulled it off and you won.
So being part of that first closing bell experience on Wall Street was something, but to be invited back a second time 5 years later was even more special. Very rarely, if ever, a company gets invited back to do the closing bell again. It rang in the new era of Glenn and Karen Williams as our CEO. To me, he epitomizes toughness and kindness. There is no doubt this company, with Glenn's leadership, isn't going to be the biggest it's ever been.
This company has the greatest distribution system of any company anywhere in the world, and we know it. We're great because of that group of leaders that built this company over the last 40 years and will build it over the next 40 years. That's why we keep them first in everything we do.
Our mission from day one has been to be able to build more financially independent families than any company in the history of North American business.
When you think about the word history, most people are thinking about the past. One of the most exciting things about our history is it's such an integral part of our present and what our future will become.
You know, there's a great quote that says, "I see far, for I stand on the shoulders of giants." And in Primerica, that is so true.
We're in the people business. So often people think we're in the financial services business and that, we may sell insurance or investments, but that's not what we sell. We sell a better future. We sell a better way.
I think when we found Primerica, we found a life, right? To know that what we do and the company that we're a part of, it will deliver, that there's not something better out there. There's no searching for the next best thing.
Because of what we've created, our future is the quilt of America. Our future is that we're inclusive, and that is why we are unstoppable.
Can you imagine waking up every day and knowing you can go for anything that you want to go for?
The last 40 years has been incredible. And as Art always said, I believe this is a company of destiny. The great things that we've been able to accomplish, the things that Primerica has done that are absolutely amazing. But we're a 40-year-old company that's 7 years young. I mean, we're just 7 years as our own independent company. We're just starting. And I think the best is clearly in the future.